And so Ms. Julian was previously in court and entered a plea of guilty to burglary of a building, which is a state jail felony that was enhanced. And the agreement was for a 10-year term in prison, probated for 10 years with restitution to be determined. There were some issues. Looks like I reset.
It was positive last time.
Right. And so I raised the bond, reset it for a couple of weeks, got a substance abuse assessment done. In the meantime, did everybody get a copy of that substance abuse assessment?
Did you?
Okay. Did you not?
I didn't, but I defer to the court on that.
Emailed it to.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm saying you didn't. I just sometimes they slip through. Sorry.
That's okay. So y'all have all been able to review the pre-sentence report, correct?
Yes.
Is there any reason not to go forward with sentencing at this time?
No, defense change.
Judge, obviously the state is aware of the court's concern about her criminal history. Just so that you know, the co-defendant was sentenced to significant prison time in this case. I believe he was actually the one more culpable based on the facts. I've also reached out to the managers of the storage facilities in an attempt to gather a restitution amount. Obviously her offer was made with the enhancement in an attempt to reclaim or regain that restitution. They were unable to provide me with that. I also reached out to the detective with respect to their attempts to contact all the individual owners, and I didn't receive a word back from that. It's my thought that probably they recouped those losses off their personal property insurance.
Okay. Okay. So do you have any input as to the recommendation?
Right off the bat, this isn't a trial, it's a sentencing phase. She's already pleaded guilty. Now the real question is, does she get a second chance, or does this spiral into prison time?
Under that substance abuse assessment is for either SafeP or ISF, followed by JCDI. Any input, Mr. Lewis or Ms. Malfino?
Well, Judge, in talking with my client, she's more than willing to comply with whatever help that the community supervision department can give to her, especially when dealing with the mental health issues, which I think that's what kind of leads to a lot of the substance abuse problems that she's had. And she's straightforward and honest with them during the evaluation. So, Judge, whatever the court deems appropriate, she's more than willing to comply.
Let me just... I guess I'm trying to decide if the substance abuse evaluation is very confusing because it says he and his the whole time instead of her. So but we're talking about the correct person, I believe. It's just,
I hope so.
Yeah. No.
Hey race, the twist. 10 years probated means she avoids prison for now, but one mistake, one violation, and that full 10-year sentence comes crashing down instantly. High risk, high pressure.
I don't know that what I'm looking for is to see if it states in here if special needs SafeP would be appropriate. I don't know, based on the diagnosis of depression and anxiety, if that is enough for that. How does that determine? Do you know?
She will already have to be diagnosed in order to do the special needs.
I mean, there's a diagnosis, it looks like. Well, I say that. Have you actually been to?
No,
you have not been actually diagnosed. That's just how you feel.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean, I was diagnosed when I was a kid, but
right, but you haven't anything recently.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
So, all right. Anything else then?
No.
No.
Okay.
All right, Miss Julian, what I'm going to do, at this time, I'm going to find that you previously entered your plea of guilty and true freely and voluntarily.
Yeah.
Find find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of burglary of a building
Yes, ma'am.
and find those prior convictions true,
Yes, ma'am.
sentence you
Wait, did you catch that the report doesn't even match her gender? That's a serious red flag. Imagine your future being decided based on paperwork that might not even be about you.
in accordance with your agreement to a term of 10 years in prison, but that's going to be probated. You'll be on probation for 10 years. Because there was no restitution amount that was turned in, I am going to order that you pay a fine of $500
Yes, ma'am.
and that you follow all of the rules and conditions of probation.
Yes, ma'am.
One of those is going to be that you enter and successfully complete the substance abuse track of the ISF program.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you're released from there, you will go through the outpatient JCDI program as your aftercare. I'm also going to ask probation when you are released to do a mental health evaluation. And if there's anything that you need, if you need to be on a specialized caseload at that point, they will put you on that to help you with any other issues that you're having. And so if you do everything that you're supposed to when you're on this probation, this is a great opportunity because for all practical purposes, your case here in court is over.
Right.
The other side of that, though, is if you violate any condition of probation
Yes, ma'am.
and you test positive, you don't show up
Right.
for whatever it is, then you
No.
will be back in here and you'll be looking at that 10-year sentence that you've already agreed to.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to hand you the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement that I followed. And so you waive your right to appeal.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm also handing you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition.
Oh, okay.
Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. I've got to read this to you.
Okay.
Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition or about how long that lasts, you can talk with Mr. Lewis. And I will sign a dismissal as soon as it comes through as part of that agreement and cause number 25, DCCR 1394.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you, ma'am. You can go back with the bailiff. And Mr. Lewis, will your client waive the formal reading of the motion?
He would.
Mr. Dinkin, and cause number 1932080, I have a motion to revoke your unadjudicated probation. Shows that you were placed on probation August 12th of 2019 for aggravated assault, and that was a 5-year deferred probation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
This motion alleges that you violated your probation. Count 1 alleges that you failed to report as directed to the probation office for the months of September and October of 2023. And is that true or not true?
Yes, sir.
True or not true? Thank you. Count 2 alleges that you failed to never become intoxicated or under the influence of any intoxicating substance, and that you tested positive for alcohol June 19th, July 12th, and August 28th of 2023. And is that true or not true?
True.
Count 3 alleges that you failed to provide verification of entering and successfully completing the anger management program as ordered. Is that true or not true?
True.
Count 4 alleges that you are behind in your court-assessed fees. Is that true or not true? And then count 5 alleges that you failed to complete the drug rehabilitation orientation program or the DROP program. Is that true or not true?
True.
Did you enter your pleas of true to counts 1 through 5 freely and voluntarily?